Hey guys, how are y'all? I just wanted to get on here and chat just a little bit, kind of let you guys know how I've been, what I've been doing, which is mostly working. Um, I haven't really had a whole lot of energy lately, but I kind of wanted to discuss a topic, I guess, that most nurses are talking about right now, and that is why nurses are leaving the profession. I can tell you right off the top of my head, since I've been working at the hospital, we've lost maybe 6 or 7 nurses. Um, some of them left to do other less stressful jobs. And if you guys don't know, I do work in med surge um, as an LPN. Um, but like I was saying before, a lot of nurses are leaving. In just the last month, we've had 2 additional nurses leave to go travel. Um, I'm just gonna go most of it is basically nurse burnout. And the struggle is real. Okay. Um, you know, most of those nurses are also like day shift nurses. I can't speak about day shift because obviously I work night shift, but I can tell you that day shift can be extremely stressful. You've got to deal with multiple family members, multiple phone calls. You've got to deal with doctors. You've got to deal with doctors' attitudes. You've got to deal with other people's attitudes. I mean, that's going to be day shift or night shift, but it just seems like day shift is a lot more stressful than others. You've gotta, I mean, there's one of my coworkers that just started working on day shift. She's also an LPN, was telling me that last week she literally almost quit because a family member of a patient that of COVID patient, um, the family member threw their purse at her. So on top of being super busy, we have to deal with um, abuse to a certain extent from family members. I can't say how I would react to that. Um, and I sometimes I can understand how family members can get upset or stressed out themselves when you've got a family member in the hospital that's not necessarily doing well. These particular patients are on airvo, cannot breathe on their own. Their code statuses are um, they're okay with chest compressions, but they don't want to be intubated. And you tell me how that's supposed to work for a COVID patient that can't breathe, where you're only doing chest compressions and nothing else. I don't see how that would work. But we've got, the COVID patients have picked up a lot in the last 3 weeks or so. We went from maybe 2 weeks of not having any COVID patients to having like a full hall of COVID patients, and there's like 10 rooms on each hall. Um, in this particular hall, I think we had maybe one room that was available, but we just kind of maintained all the COVID patients on one side. Um, but like I was saying, nurse burnout is real. You've got to deal with, like I said, patients' family members. There's patients that are literally in the process of dying, and you're just kind of waiting to see what happens. We did have a patient that died about 2 weeks ago. It was just she just was not doing well, but she was not a COVID patient. Um, but yeah, like so, a lot of nurses are tempted by travel jobs, whether they're local or out of state. We have a lot of agency nurses that work at our hospital, and some of them are getting paid like $100 an hour. When obviously that doesn't, most of them are RNs that are travel nurses, but it wouldn't apply necessarily to LPNs. The most I've seen per hour for LPN travel nurse with an agency was like 60, 65. And that's just for LPNs. But obviously you make more money as an RN. But let's just say that all money ain't good money. Okay. You could be in a situation where you're looking at the income amount, which is fine, but you have to also think about when you go on a travel assignment, you basically have to go where they tell you to go. And whether you're familiar with that department or not, you have to be ready to jump in and do what everybody else is doing, and you're expected to know that with the amount that they're paying you, you're expected to know what you're doing. So I would not advise um, new nurses, or maybe nurses with 6 months of experience or less. I would not advise you to take any travel contracts unless you're doing something local, like I do from time to time. Um, and I say that only because you really don't have a knowledge base. Um, I would say to be able to travel, like my med surge floor at my hospital could be different from med surge floor at a different hospital. Um, we only have 25 beds. It's like a critical access, like in a rural area hospital, as opposed to the bigger cities where you've got multiple floors and you've got different types of med surge, not just general med surge. Um, like I probably would not feel comfortable going to another hospital and working their med surge floor because there's a lot of things that they may do that we don't do at our hospital. But like I said, to each his own. I just think that if you do decide to take a travel contract, you need to kind of play everything out, map everything out, make sure that you're not just doing it for the income. You have to just make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. Um, I recently signed up with another agency. The one that I was previously, well, I'm still employed by them, as a independent contractor. I pick up shifts locally, like I said, do some psych. I have been to nursing homes, don't particularly like those. Um, that's pretty much all I've done with them so far, between psych and then, like the addiction centers and things like that, because I do have some background with that. But I recently signed up with IntelliCare. I've heard a lot of good things about them. I'm just waiting for them to review all of my paperwork, but I have received an offer to work for them part-time. And I'm hoping that they have a little bit more flexibility as far as facilities are concerned. If you guys looked at my previous videos, you know that I'm not a big fan of nursing homes. So, I mean, I would do it if I absolutely have to, maybe an 8-hour shift, not necessarily a 12-hour shift, but I just can't. I mean, nursing homes are so short staffed. I mean, everybody obviously in the world is short staffed right now, but nursing homes are extremely short staffed. They're low on CNAs, they're low on, nurses. I don't want to go to a facility and be the only nurse on staff and get stuck with 40 plus patients. It's very difficult to take care of that many people and give them the right amount of quality care that they deserve. If you got 4 or 5 patients with G tubes, you got people that need IVs and all that kind of thing. It could be a lot. So I tend to try my best to stay away from nursing home setting. I have seen that my previous agency does have hospice facilities. Those, and I may be interested in maybe doing a shift at one of those, because that particular facility only holds a small amount of patients. Mostly it's comfort care for patients that are actively dying or they have chronic illnesses that they're not expected to live. Obviously, I'm sure you guys know what hospice is. But like I said, just be wary of what you're signing up for. Do your research. Make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons and not just for the money. And I've seen where nurses leave to go travel and they get stuck in a worse position than they were in before they left their staff job. Um, if you do it, I would suggest that you do it the way I do. I mean, you don't have to, but if you're able to keep your full-time job like I do, I have 3 days I work a week. I can pick up shifts if I want to. I have picked up extra shifts at the hospital the last couple of weeks. But since I did not pick up any shifts with agency this month, I just kind of wanted to give myself a break so that I wasn't working too much. But you could do it like I do. You can keep your staff job if you're working 3 12-hour shifts a week and work part-time or PRN at agencies so that you can also build up your skill set and you're not tied to a specific facility. You can work when you want to, not when somebody else wants you to. So that would be my suggestion for that. And just make sure that you guys are taking care of yourselves. You're giving yourself mental breaks. Um, don't be afraid to say no when your boss or your supervisors ask you to come in for another shift besides the ones you're already working. I'll tell you that I have gotten lots of phone calls from the hospital in the last couple of weeks, and it seems like it's been every Monday. So we're always short staffed when we can't find agency nurses. They'll put out like bid shifts where they'll pay you an extra 45% for the shift that you work, in addition to what your hourly base pay is. But don't be afraid to say no. Don't feel like you have to go in on your days off. Take your days off. That is what you signed up for when you took your position. Um, I only agreed to work the 3 days a week because that is considered full time if you're doing 12-hour shifts. I pick up the extra days when I feel like it. Sometimes I feel bad and I'll help out, you know, but just remember that it is not a requirement for you to go in on your days off. Um, this week I refused to do that. I saw that there was a lot of openings on the schedule, but I said, don't call me because I'm not coming in. Okay, I'm taking my days off. I got 4 days off. I'm taking it. I'll come back to work on Wednesday when I'm supposed to. So basically, I just wanted to say for you guys, just make sure you're not working yourselves to death. With healthcare, you will always have a job. It's just basically about what you want to do for your career. Um, I know that I will not be in doing bedside care forever. I'm 40 years old. May not look like it, but I'm 40 years old and I'm already having back problems. Okay. And I know that I'm not going to be able to do this forever. So, I am moving into a different direction as far as healthcare goes. I am still going to remain an LPN, but I am looking for forward to getting more of the business side of it. I have taken courses and I do have an associate's degree in health information technology, which is mostly medical records, but some billing and stuff like that. But I am going a little bit deeper into it and I am going to pursue my bachelor's degree in health service administration. I actually will be starting that really soon. Um, so they'll just give you like some extra insight on things that you can do as a nurse. And like I said in one of my previous videos, just because you're not an RN or you don't have the urge to go back for your RN does not mean that you can't advance in your career, and it does not mean that you have to stay, I guess, stuck as an LPN. It's not saying that you're stuck, because I was initially going to go back for my RN, but I decided that I don't want to because I don't want that particular added responsibility. I mean, I want to just work and go home. And I know that probably sounds a little bit redundant, being that I want to go into health service administration, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be on call all the time like most nurse case managers or nurse managers are. Um, I don't have to be like some of my other coworkers that since have stated that they didn't want to do anymore, where they're on call for like a whole week and then they've had experiences where they have worked a 12-hour shift overnight, and then let's say somebody calls in the emergency room for the next day and they don't have anybody. They will literally call them 2 or 3 hours after they just worked a 12-hour shift, have not slept, and ask them to come in. And most of those are, like nurse leader positions. If that's something that you want to do, you go right ahead, but that's something that I'm not interested in. So I am going to pursue, like I said, my health service administration, because I could technically be a clinical manager. I could switch my minor and do like a nursing home administrator, but like I said, I'm not going nowhere near a nursing home if I can help it. but there are certain job titles and certain positions that you can gain in administration, with an administration degree. So like I said, I am going to pursue that. I'm not going to let anybody deter me or talk me out of it. I'm going to do what I want to do, but I will still maintain my nursing license. So if you guys have any questions about it, feel free to send me a message. I will respond, try to get you guys some answers. I'm not a professional. I mean, I'm a professional, but I'm not, like, I don't know everything, but we just kind of going with the flow here and going with what I do know. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to chat with you guys, let you know how I'm doing, see how y'all are doing. Hope everything's fine, everybody's good. And that's it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.